Teachers, and you're listening to Show X Live with Ken in his student accommodation all the way in Scotland, and Wayne in his white windowless van? Uh-oh, I better get out of here. Enjoy the show!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Show X on VTWProductions.com for our second time today on March 8th, 2015. We're coming to you live at, let me get this straight if I can, it's going to be 7 p.m. EST, and I believe, is it 11 p.m. GMT right now?
That is correct, yeah.
Aha! Look what I did right there. I got it right. And we are coming to you again live now with a special episode and a special guest. We have returning onto the airs with us at VTW Productions on Show X, Miss Lily from the show on TBS, King of the Nerds. How are you doing today, Lily?
I'm doing great. Am I frozen on your screen, or is that just my screen?
So, I do not see your video coming through.
You're a little...
It's swirling for us saying that, I don't see you, but I know you're there. But the nice thing is we do hear you.
Well, I'm going to turn it off and then back on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm doing great. I'm really enjoying watching the show and just interacting with fans. It's been a blast.
I can imagine so, and especially after we were, well, at least I was watching through with the last episode of King of the Nerds, and oh my gosh, bated breath, so concerned and worried, but it worked out. So we have an hour with you today, and I want to catch up because the last time we had talked, we had just gotten to see the cosplay episode of King of the Nerds, which was epic because of all things cosplay and Yaya and everything that you do, so that was great. Mm-hmm. Since then, we've had some very exciting shows. Things where, admittedly, I had no idea who was going on the chopping block, how the different challenges were going to work out, and especially how the whole Secret Six and everything was going to work out with the different groups that everyone had formed in alliances in the background. And so even though everyone is like friends and great because we're all geeks, we're all nerds together, the game was afoot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how you play a strategic game show.
Absolutely. And so it's interesting is because it's a game and there's at some point there's got to be strategy throughout, and I don't know how far back into the strategy you were going. You specifically were working on angles or trying to essentially manipulate the situation as you were going forward with it, but there was definitely some going on. And so from your perspective, how far back in the beginning of the game did you start really focusing on the strategy?
Well, we've talked about the Secret Six before in a few different interviews, and what we like to remind people is that we had a bunch of individual alliances. I'm talking with my hands. Can you even see me? That's so
can't,
funny.
Unfortunately, but yes.
Okay. Yeah, there are a bunch of individual alliances that were made between like one or two people, or two or three people, and then those just kind of like globbed on. So it very easily could have been like the final four or whatever instead of the Secret Six, but that's just how the alliances seemed to glob on.
Yeah, it seemed like that worked out, where at least the one that was most shown in the show, and that might have just been, of course, the producers making sure they focused it, but how that did come to fruition, if you will.
Yeah, because one of the things that you don't get to see is that Caitlin was invited to the Lady Alliance and declined.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, she's like, alliances are stupid. She's like above alliances. So, of course, she makes one with Jonathan, which is super funny. But, and then also at one point in the show, she and I were like in an alliance in a way, like we were on a blue team alliance. So that was, whatever. But so it's funny when people are like alliances, because I feel like everybody in the house was in some sort of alliance and also at the same time did not trust anyone. So there are a lot of people who put a lot of stock into Ben and I being a very strong alliance when I don't know if I trusted him the whole show. I always thought he was going to throw me under the bus. So it was, there was that trust, but not really. Nobody ever trusted anyone. So
absolutely. Well, and
it's interesting. Yeah.
It seemed like it was just a matter of kind of the game of it really seeing at what point how far could you push an alliance before you knew at some point you're gonna have to break it. At some point there's gonna be a time where you're all against each other, and so no alliance is gonna last.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of interesting, and it was funny because they do highlight in the show how Jonathan was kind of going around everyone to make his own alliances, like, well,
yeah.
I'm gonna be friendly with everybody and see how it works out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that they also put a lot of stock in the show of like the alliance breaking apart. It's like, well, it showed us talking about like, well, we know that someone is going to have to go in, and in the individual game, obviously there isn't a giant alliance in the individual game,
of course.
And I don't know if you can see when the teams are dissolved, my face is like flat face because I'm like, oh, yep. This is sad now. This is super sad. Nobody's going to be nice to anyone. And I remember just feeling, there's not a lot of footage of me in the next episode with anyone because I really just like sat in a room by myself for an entire day, just like napping. And I felt so distanced from everyone. Like I wasn't in on the inside jokes, and I wasn't a part of the fun anymore because I was sick. And also I just felt like, oh, well, this is what it is now, is nobody is friends anymore. So my cat is doing dangerous things right now. What are you doing, Zoe?
Careful in the background. So as you're talking
so
about,
you still can't see me?
I can't. I see the spinning face, and what we can try to do is we can try to drop and bring it back real quick to see if that'll bring it back up.
Well, did that do it?
So I saw it stop. It's spinning again, like it's thinking really hard about it. The nice thing is, at least on the video feed, I've got your player card up from King of the Nerds, so if nothing else, people do see your lovely face, just not animated. So I do have that as just in case. So
you just can't see my cute cat, that's all.
No, and it sucks because I know Copy, who's listening right now, would love to see that because she loves all cats. And so we're a little remiss. But speaking of like how things started going, it was interesting because from the next episodes on, it really started to feel like things were heating up. Especially for me, the one where, as the gaming part of it went and the alliances were doing, when you guys had to essentially vote to put Todd into the challenge at the end, into the Nerd Off. And that was the first episode I saw where it really started seeing like it was testing the limits of people's decor in the game, of how everyone was interacting, because I know Todd seemed to feel like he was very slighted in how he was called out, even though he felt like he had done a lot of effort in the team part of the challenge. And it was one of those ones where watching how it happened, and of course this is also the episode where he essentially went off on you. And I mean, that did look like, oh crap. And it all came through and he apologized in the end, and it did have that emotional piece to it. Did you by any chance feel, though, that he was somewhat maybe justified in feeling like he was being targeted? Because, I mean, we all knew that it fit the logic of the alliance, how it had to work out, that you guys had all decided he's going to go under, but that he started feeling it, and that was kind of his defense of like, wait a second, but I worked so hard.
Okay, so I feel like Todd and I are pretty good friends now, and so he doesn't mind me being like frank about a situation, but I've seen a lot of really great comments. I've seen a lot of really not smart comments, but I've seen a lot of really great comments of people who have viewed the show critically and analyzed the footage and come to their own conclusions. So Todd narrates the situation. So the only point of view you get in that situation is Todd's point of view. I think it would be really interesting to see an interview from Caitlin in that moment, who has nothing to do with the Secret Six Alliance.
Yes.
Because if you notice, she is very on board with voting Todd in. So it has nothing to do with the Secret Six Alliance. It has to do with him as a worker. So I do not consider it to be unjust that we put him in, because if you're looking at his work ethic in the first 2 Nerd Wars, it was not up to par with the rest of the team. And when we talk to Thomas about how you are going in next, Caitlin then says to Todd, and you're next, which was very stupid to tell him before the entire Nerd War. So she tells Thomas, we're voting you in, and Todd, you're next.
Ouch.
Because of how he performed in those first 2 Nerd Wars, the Rube Goldberg and the cosplay challenge.
Oh, and absolutely. And especially those 2, you could see it. Like you said, leading in, it was progressive, where it looked like he was trying to turn the corner in helping with the boats and everything like that. And at the same time, it was the obvious out because he couldn't actually perform the physical task in that one. Just, of course.
Well, I don't think any of us held that against him.
No, that wasn't part of it. But I mean, that just, it lends itself to like, yes, you helped build, but I mean, just in general, there's that feeling of out. But I mean, at the same time, on the other team, you had the same thing happen with Kobe. And so it was kind of like, that was a challenge regardless, because someone had to be out on either team. And so
exactly. And I'm glad that they did that. Yeah. So I don't think any of us held that against him, but the fact that he did work hard in that challenge, but that does not mean that I did not. Now, again, people who are viewing the episode critically are also realizing that the entire story is being told from Todd's perspective and things that he is saying, and they're just taking that as the truth. So that's totally cool if you're gonna go with that.
That's one of the major challenges with any of these, reality type shows where there's real interaction going on. You can only show so much in the time provided on TV. You get an hour per interaction that's occurring, and yet you're in that house for
I do think it's interesting that there were no interviews from any House Hooloovoo members during that. Like, it's just Todd being upset, and it's nobody else being like, wow, Todd sure is being angry through this whole thing. And, there's a few times where he is being hostile towards me, and you hear the whole team say, like, Todd, that's not helping. Please stop. You're not helping.
You really catch that from like Heather jumping in like, whoa, this is not how we treat people.
Well, this is still like in the Nerd War, like before he even went off on me. He was being hostile to me. He was being hostile through like the whole building of the boat. And him saying that I was not supposed to be taping the boats is not true, but that's okay.
Yes,
like that was my
pressing
job.
the whole...
I was like, Caitlin, what should I do? And she was like, I need you to tape those boats. And I was like, you got it, Caitlin. So it's, I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's one of those things they also play up in the episode, how, I mean, there's not a whole lot where they talk about relationship or anything like that, but they do press in the show this kind of interaction or friendship that you had with Ben in the whole thing, where it's kind of like, the two of you very much interacting throughout the whole show. And so that's something they lend towards, where it just was convenient in that episode to say like, oh, look, there's Lily just hanging out with Ben.
She isn't doing anything, even though her hands are in the montage of work shots.
She's moving everything. Which, by the way, we can see you again, which is awesome. So yay. Video is back.
Oh, the video's back?
Yes, it is.
It's on.
Oh, fun. You get to see my facial expressions. I'll be more of a human. So, and that's totally fine, because Ben and I were very close on the show, and we worked very well together. And honestly, in those moments where I felt that like nobody wanted me there, it was like, but Ben is my friend. And somebody said it really funny in a Facebook thread earlier. It's like, because boys and girls can't just be friends. And I mean, we had a lot of banter, and I mean, it felt like he was there for me, which was really nice. But I mean, obviously it's
and that's
who cares?
And so things worked out. Todd was moved off the show with that episode, everything. And I mean, the funny part is, even that, it still comes down to the actual challenge, or the nerd off in the end. And so in the end, it's still, I mean, that's still to chance and to each person's skill. It just happened to work out. So moving on from there, though, I did want to also talk about, just as we're trying to recap to pull up to now, the performance you guys did when it was the whole musical episode. And
wasn't that fantastic?
That was cool. And I really was jazzed, because there were two aspects, seeing what they put together on the other team with Kobe doing the lyrics and raps. I love the lyrics they came up with,
Their lyrics were so good.
They were really intelligent and witty, and they touched on so many nerd aspects. But I had to agree with, in essence, like Moby's criticism, or it wasn't even Moby's. I want to say it was the first show. I'm like, God, I forget his name now.
Travie McCoy.
Yes, where it was kind of like I wish I could have heard the lyrics more. Because the thing that they didn't do that your team did is they spent more time with the whole group kind of voicing over each other's. And so it was a little bit much to take in. Whereas with your group, in your house, you guys all did like individual parts that highlighted your piece, so I could just listen to you and then go back. And it did come through that way, where I thought they had amazing lyrics, but it was kind of just a mess in the overall how it sounded. And it was crazy because as soon as you performed, it was like that instant snap difference where it's like, oh, this is musical and I can hear it.
Really clear, yeah. And it was hard watching them perform it live because we couldn't. I was like listening to the beat and watching them dance, and I couldn't hear a single word. Not a single word got to me the whole time, which was really sad.
So you say that, is it sad, but at the same time a little bit like, yay?
I mean, schadenfreude for everyone? Yeah, yes. And our song came out the way it did, and this is a really cute behind-the-scenes fact. Ben and Rachel are both very into Disney, and Ben had this grand idea of it being like a musical, like where we were going to come out and be like, da 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 da, you know, like, oh, that's so funny, I'm wearing my Captain Hammer shirt, and I just started singing Stand Back Everyone. But like each character coming in and saying a moment, right? And we were like, okay, so the musical, you know, musicals have like different songs that come together, and we brought it to the producers, and they were like, yeah, we're not going to write a score, you guys. So it turned into this awesome, like, ballad, like rock pop ballad. So we really liked that.
Well, that and really, you guys just...
And it was a story of personal growth, and hopefully other people could relate to our stories of personal growth, and it not just being like us coming to Nerdvana, but us coming to a place where we're accepted, and that's what the whole anthem was.
Well, but it combined the two elements, which I thought was really brilliant, because it was not only just being geeks, nerds in general, but it was talking about the show itself. And so whether or not, you know, whatever criticism came about, well, that's not just being a geek or a nerd, at the same time, it seemed so appropriate, and it just fit the show really well. And so,
well, if you think of Nerdvana not just as the house, but like as the place that you achieve when you finally accept your passions and like everyone getting to know you, that's Nerdvana. That's where you want to achieve.
Yeah, it's that being of being nerds and being amongst your people and just enjoying being who you are. I love that aspect. And as well as the performance of just, I had to chuckle when coming through the legs and then riding on back of, was it Ben that was crawling along and such? And how that all just tied in, where I was chuckling during that, because it reminds me a lot of some of the bigger hip-hop performances I like to watch, where you do the big choreographed, you know, team battle type stuff. I was like, hey, that's pretty good. You know, I was like, I don't know if I would have thought of that.
Get to see the full version of the song?
I don't think I did. I think I only saw the episode. And so I'm assuming now you're telling me it's out there.
It is out there. The full version of the song is out there. It was pinned to the top of my Twitter for weeks now, but I finally changed it for something else. So it's also on King of the Nerds Twitter. It's on their Facebook page. It's on my cosplay page, Lilitron Cosplay. And it's the full version of the song, which I think you'll enjoy even more. I
will find it, and I will definitely put it into the show notes so that everyone can go make sure they check it out as well, because I really did enjoy what we saw, and I can only imagine what the whole thing, because you talked about before with us, how you see only so much in the show, and there's a lot that's left on the cutting room floor, and so there's only one side of the story, and even like you said, there's entire verses and lyrics that we miss out on, and especially even from you specifically, that because I did see that post where it's like, did you not see my other verse here, and such, and so I do look forward to going back and checking those out. But as you're doing with the performance, you know, the criticism from one amazing group of guests that were there, because for me, I kind of went squee as soon as I saw Lisa Loeb up there. It was just like, what? I love her, stay. And then, of course, Moby, because Moby. But at the same time, it was funny to see how critical, like, Moby was like, no crap. Moby was like, oh, you're going to impress me with this? You know?
That's what you think.
Yes, and so that was interesting because, admittedly, on the other side, when he, started questioning, and I feel bad for Ori, about like the whole like, well, did you actually read Hamlet in Klingon, or it's just like, oh man.
Yeah.
But
that was kind of a gatekeeper move.
Yes,
we don't like gatekeepers. People are like, this is my fandom, and just because you don't know every single bit about it, means you don't love it.
Oh gosh, I worry about that so much whenever I do a cosplay or something. I'm like, well, I better go do some research because someone's going to call me out. Hey,
I did do that term before, gatekeeper. I've never heard that term before. That's brilliant.
Gatekeeper, they're gatekeepers. They're like, this is my fandom, you can't come in. So,
hey, Ken, you got to realize we do that ourselves when it comes to like gaming and PC gaming. Because
PC gaming, that's us. And I've seen the Doctor Who fandom do that as well. I mean, that's kind of what I'm known for.
Yeah, I've gotten called out on that before.
You guys should be key masters.
Yes, being able to open up for everyone.
That's a Ghostbusters reference.
Yes, it is. All right, so as we got through the performance stuff, the last episode that just occurred, which was the episode that caught me the most off guard with how much was going on, and even from the very beginning, what really surprised me in this last one was how, as it went, I almost do want. Which way do I want to go with that? Because the Kobe thing. No, this last one. I'll focus on that.
I mean, we can talk about Colby. That's fine. A lot of people want to hear about Colby.
Well, Kobe, because admittedly, he came in and it was kind of mentioned in the comments what they'd shown in the show about how he was always one of these targets just because of his pedigree, his background. Being, a Jeopardy player that had won so much and just his ability to retain and bring back information, that's scary. I felt the same way. To compete against someone like that, we need to find a way to get him out. And so I can understand. But, I mean, at the same time, I liked Kobe a lot because he is so smart. And in general, he was being nice to everyone from what we saw. In general. I mean, it's like anything. Once you feel like you're the target, that changes quickly. When you feel like you're still on the good side and people aren't looking at you too direct, you're like, "Hey, everybody, it's cool." The moment it's like, "Oh, wait, me? Oh, crap." And then it becomes defensive like, "Oh no." And so
I'm going to use Colby's own words in a hangout that he did recently.
Okay.
Where people were like, "So, did you just not want to hang out with them ever?" And he was like, "Well, yeah, because sometimes they would be talking about things and I just didn't care. No, I haven't seen that anime and I don't want to talk about it."
Yeah, so that is the unfortunate side of geekdom, everyone, where it'd be best if you're, you may not be into anything that other people are into or everything, but it's nice to still understand that people are into their own stuff and just be like, "Hey, that's cool." No, he did definitely come off that way.
I'm sorry, I mean, I had a really nice moment with Colby on the show, which I always clung on to whenever I was feeling judged by him or talked down to by him. I held on to this moment where he was telling me not to let anyone throw me shade, and he was being very supportive, and we were really commiserating on our childhoods and things like that, which was really nice. And so that is my nice memory of Colby. So, I do consider him a friend. But I will say that on the show, he was very cold and judgmental.
Well,
and so
it's psychological tactics as well, though, isn't it?
Okay, if you want to give him that much credit. But he, we never got that one-on-one interview time with Colby. Like, you see Colby in interviews and he's having a one-on-one conversation with you, and you're like, "Oh, Colby, thanks for talking to me, man." Where there was never that one-on-one
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense when you're talking about it that way, because that group dynamic was kind of interesting to observe from the outside. I mean, at first, it looked like that was going to be Caitlin up and down the whole show. It seemed like she was going to just be the one that was outside, never talking to anybody, but towards the end, it actually seemed like she got into the group some, and actually...
Yeah, she's super awesome. I love Caitlin.
And that was totally outside of what I expected, because at the beginning, especially when you hear her talk herself about the entire time the competition, like, we're here to play, we're here to game, and this is what's going to happen. And then you see her actually interacting. It's like, wait, Caitlin's actually pretty cool. It doesn't seem like she's just this cold, I'm overly intelligent NASA. Haha.
No, but I mean, she is. I mean, she's not cold. She's not cold.
She's still, engineer NASA.
What you see of Caitlin on the show is Caitlin. Like, it is 100% Caitlin. What you see of Colby on the show, I would love to have those one-on-one interview interactions with Colby, and I know that he can be like that. I just know that that wasn't the case in the house. He was not overly willing to participate in anything or talk to us, and he would do this thing where, like, if you told him about something that was important to you, and he would go, ha ha ha, and oh, okay, sorry, and then you felt really stupid.
No.
So,
that is unfortunate, because that's one of those things that, I mean, that's just a skill for anybody out there. It's, you may not care really, but if it's something that's important to someone around you, you should take the time to engage them and at least understand that that is important to them. It is completely fair for you to not want to make it your own, but at the same time, you should never dismiss it, because obviously this person cares. And that's really important in our kind of geekdoms that we go to, because, I mean, everything from cosplay world, especially because usually a character someone's picking up in cosplay, they pick that character for a reason. They love that character, and so you may not understand or get it, but at the same time, you got to understand that they do. And so you just got to kind of go like, hey, so I got you there.
I also, I mean, I understand that is Colby's personality, and I'm totally fine with that. And, like, I mean, Colby, if you're watching, I think you're a really great person. I did feel judged by you sometimes, and I'm sorry. And I'll call you soon.
Aww. So, and you talk about that, and there's a lot of things where, because we don't see everything in the show, one of the questions I had about kind of how the show works in the background is, we only see that hour, but how long did it take each one of those episodes to tape, and how much time do you have between episodes, essentially, while you're there? You know, because we see it each week, but the way it's portrayed on the show, to me, it sounds like it's a day. It's like you have one day, then the next day, the next day, the next day. And it's kind of like...
Yes, that.
Okay, because it seemed like, gosh, it seems very hectic throughout.
I feel like it's pretty public knowledge that it's like day. I mean, there are some people who think that we are currently living there.
Fair.
That's a real thing. There are people who think that we live there right now and that they're watching this live every week. Which, I mean, that's totally fine. Like, that is how it is being portrayed to them, so I don't hold it against them.
And there are other shows that do that.
That we, film day. Like, that's a filming schedule.
Well, and that's the thing. I wasn't sure, because at the same time with Nerdvana, it seems like that's a place I would want to hang out.
Oh, yeah.
And so it kind of makes me wonder, it's like, how much time did you actually get to just explore and play and get to be part of this neat facility they had available to you,
Every time there was a nerd off, after the nerd off, it was like party time, Or actually also after a nerd war, if you were the winning team, it was like party time, because you did not have to worry about the next day. You just got to play and do whatever you want. And that's why, I guess, improvisational Star Wars would have been the day before a nerd war. But oh well, it was still super fun. That might have been like the day before a day off or something. I don't remember.
Well, and how often did that happen? Because it sounded like that was something that became a thing. And although you only really see it in one episode where it's like really talked about, but how often did improv Star Wars occur?
Isn't it so sad that you only saw like 5 seconds of that? We got so far through A New Hope, and it's just. I'm so sad that that's all you see. Maybe they couldn't get the rights to it because we performed it so well. My favorite part that you don't get to see is Caitlin comes in with headphones on her head, and she's like, "Help us, Obi-Wan, you're our only hope." And it's like Caitlin got into it,
Nice.
Like we were.
That's actually really good.
I know. It was so fun, and I was so happy that she was into it. So things like that would happen. I would say we tried to have as much fun time as we possibly could. So, like I said, it was like every other day we had a chance to kind of let loose and not worry.
That's good. No, that's good to hear, because that was one of those things where I was trying to look at it like, man, because for me, as much as I'm a gamer and such, every time there's like, ooh, computer stuff, or wait, arcade games, it's like, hey, y'all, we need to be doing this. And it's, especially because everyone has their own interests and backgrounds, it seems like everybody wanted to kind of, hey, everybody, let's do these, and it's just like so much, and that would scatter me completely.
Yeah, there was a circle of Razer computers where you could play, I think you could play Scribblenauts and Arkham Asylum.
Nice.
And, it was cool.
See, and that's the kind of stuff.
We got into puzzles towards the end. You'll start to see just puzzles because it's really relaxing, and you could kind of just like be with each other and be like, oh, there's that piece. Yeah, oh, you got it. And like the producers come in, they're like, this is terrible television. No, it's just us doing puzzles.
Well, so it's funny. It's funny you say that, but in front of it, the whole reality TV, we need drama, we need stuff happening, and with my military background, we used to always talk about reality TV amongst my friends that I worked with, and one of the comments we always said is like, we would be terrible at this because we would get into a room and we'd see all the cool stuff and be like, dude, guys, this is awesome, let's just chill and enjoy it, and the producer would be like, no, you guys need to do something. It's like, but this is cool. Yeah. So I can only imagine.
Yeah, and then they were mad at us for doing improv Star Wars because we moved the pool table. Oh well.
you got in some of their video shots they had pre-set up. Darn it! Why you do this? No. But that's great that you guys did get to bond and have a lot of fun with it as well, as hectic as the entire thing must have been.
Yeah, and we wouldn't be as good friends now if we didn't have all that bonding time. And I think I was talking to Amanda and Ben the other day, and we were like, okay, so we were talking about how much we missed being at Nerdvana and how much we missed. It was like being kids, they fed you, there was candy, you took naps. It was fantastic. And then I was like, but if you had to choose between Nirvana, transcendence and eternal peace in your mind, and Nerdvana, which would you choose? And Amanda said, don't make me choose, Lily. Don't make me choose.
Oh, that is tough. See, I don't know. I'm enough of a geek. I'd like to think, well, Nerdvana would be my Nirvana. As long as it keeps getting updates of the latest hardware and games that come out, I'm good.
Yeah, but then you get sent home, Wayne.
Well,
and it feels like you're being stripped from heaven.
See. Well, and that leads into the last episode where I was wondering, because once it's like, okay, split up, everyth's done, we get through the last challenge, and now your teams are dissolved. Time to go solo, time to be individuals. Oh, how the game changes. And, and so I was kind of like, oh, crud. And then as soon as I saw that, I was like, I cannot wait for the next episode. I knew what they were doing, and I knew that was that cliffhanger, because afterwards I was like, okay, what are you doing next? How are we going to get into this? And, of course, starting it out, and you guys go instantly into a challenge as individuals.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It was really stressful. And none of us, legitimately, none of us knew that it was going to be an elimination. So the shock you see on our faces is real. And people might be like, well, of course it had to be an elimination. It's like, we honestly did not see it coming. And then I was sick, so it was just, I think some people have said that I seem like kind of loopy in the episode, and I think that it's just funny because like when I'm sick, I just like don't care about anything. I get really just like, whatever, man. So it was a very stressful time, and you see all of us are almost like whispering our answers. And you can feel the stress in us. Watching that scene, my heart was like racing as if I was there again. And
oh, yes. Oh, no, that's the thing, because when it starts out, and I see it, well, for one, once it, like you said it earlier in the show, as soon as it went to individual, your face, you did go deadpan, because it was like, oh, it's real, this is serious, and it's like, whoa. And then going into that first challenge, like right off the bat, and initially it seemed like when it was everyone just in the challenge and it wasn't that realization of elimination, everyone was like, all right, cool, I don't want to lose, but, let's go. And I really did kind of catch my breath when you were the first out, where I was like, whoa, oh, crud. Because
I should have just said Hulk.
Well, and it's crazy.
Hulk is the correct answer, but the Hulk is incorrect.
I know, right? Of all the movie choices, like, come on. You have, yes, the Hulk was terrible, but Hulk was great. So bad. And it goes to those last moments of things. But as that happened, and you're put out, because initially you're just kind of like, this sucks. And I can only imagine, because as it continued, I saw as the next categories came up and questions were asked, I saw it on your face where you're like, are you kidding me? I know these.
Yeah, like Age of Empires races that you can play, everyone was naming them off, and I was like, how do they know all these? They were just naming civilization races.
Yes.
That's so easy. You just name any race. And I was like, I would have said the Koreans because they have the turtle ships, and that would have been really cool. But they were just naming races in history, which is so funny. Isn't that the one Rachel says Poop City or something?
Oh, it was something like that one. It was that one or... Yeah, because whenever it was said, it was just like, wait, what? Because you knew when people answered stuff that was like, you didn't even try. That was like a straight, I don't know, I give up.
Yeah. Well, it got to the... I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like this, like if you're in like a bar trivia or something like that. But you get to the point where once you say a word in your head, it's the only word you can think about.
Yep.
Like, you cannot... There are no other words that can come out of your mouth because that is the word that you thought about 5 seconds ago, and when it gets to you, even if you know it's wrong, you're going to say it. So, like, fucking... Oh, gosh.
It's okay.
The Scarlet Pimpernel, like, come on, Lily. Like, one, I was trying to be, which is the wrong way to play this, we later discussed. All of us were trying to be very obscure first.
Oh, no.
And then get into the general. That's the stupidest way to play it.
Yes, you take the easy ones.
Go with the ones that everybody is going to go for, the easy ones, and then hit them with your obscure answer. So I was like, Much Ado About Nothing, when I could have started with like Othello or Hamlet, you know?
Yep.
Or, I mean, Midsummer Night's Dream is my favorite. I could have started with that one, but I didn't. I said Much Ado About Nothing to be super pretentious.
Oh, so you say that, and at the same time, for me, I would have been the other way, because that category would have screwed me. I would have gotten, like, Hamlet and a couple, Romeo and Juliet, basic stuff, where then it would have been like,
Taming of the Shrew. Like, there's so many to go from, and I was just like, what's the most obscure thing I can think of? The Scarlet Pimpernel? The Scarlet Pimpernel is not a Shakespeare play. I don't know. No, it's way later. The Scarlet Pimpernel. Like, is when it gets to you.
Yes.
You can't think of anything else because you've been doing it in your head, which is totally fine. Like, I take that. That's my fault.
Well, and I laughed because I was actually surprised with how far some of the categories, like when they went to Pokemon, all of a sudden I was like, what? How do you guys know this many? Because I would have been out after, Squirtle, Charizard, and, Jigglypuff.
The first 151 is all I could do anyway,
Well, the first 150, oh, haha.
We jokingly
I would have loved to be in that one. That one would have been nice. I would have also loved to be in Game of Thrones houses. I would have loved to answer a lot of those, but I had to say the Hulk as my first answer and only have one choice the rest of the things.
No, like I said, that was really stressful just even watching it, and then even more so once it went to the elimination, because then having both you and Amanda there, it was like, whoa, all of a sudden this got real. And that watching the two of you answer through that, I was kind of caught breath, just like, oh crud, what's going to happen? And I felt so bad.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Well, I felt so bad when Amanda finally lost, right? And in a way, I was kind of like, I didn't want either of you out. And at the same time, I'm totally rooting for you, Lily. And yet, I'm like, but I like Amanda. And that's, so just so harsh. There's Kitty.
Yeah, I love Amanda too. I was really sad to see her go. Like, me being the one to take Amanda out was the saddest, because I think for me in the house, like, people think like that I was closest with Ben, but I kind of have this little like fangirl thing about Amanda, where Amanda's really special to me, and like the moment I met her, I was like, whoa, this lady, and she's very motherly, and whenever I was sad, I knew that I could like go and like hug Amanda and feel really safe. So sending her home was like, oh gosh, Amanda, like I can't lose Amanda. But it was me sending her home, which was really, really sad. And I'm still sad thinking about how I missed Amanda.
Aw. Well, again, that whole episode, it drew out, because then going from that and going back into now we have to nominate people yet again for another Nerd Off. Like, it wasn't even just, and now you get to relax and do something else. It was straight back into, and now this is going to happen again. And, oh crap, And so that even felt more so like, holy stress that whole day, you feeling sick. And
well, we did get to go to sleep that night and wake up, but I was even sicker the next day, and I was glad it didn't get put on television, but I did throw up right before the throne room. So I was not in a great place. And that was probably from taking cold medicine on like a semi-empty stomach with some orange juice. But
oh gosh.
Oh.
Well,
yeah,
and nerves
great.
like that, I couldn't imagine being comfortable to like sit down like, I'm going to have a big comfortable meal and chill out today because this isn't stressful.
No, I wasn't most of my time there, yeah. But it was, I was a lot sicker the next day. And, this is, I talked about this in the throne room hangout, but I want to tell you guys specifically that when they were like, study for everything nerd related. Yes. And I was really sick, and I really needed time. My battery is going to run out.
This happened to us last time.
Oh, gosh, did it? I'm the worst.
Well, no, it's just funny because you did the same thing last time. Where you're like, wait, I need to find a place to plug this in. That's okay. Yeah, it's left with us getting to see everything in the background, where we get to see the Hulk fist, the Watchmen case, and all of the comics up on the wall.
Yeah, those are my Watchmen hero clicks. And that Galactus poster is signed by Neil Adams, who I worked for.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And that's my Mononoke blade that my boyfriend made for me.
Very, very, very cool. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are saved with power, hopefully.
Yeah, we are.
Outstanding.
So I had to sleep because I was so sick, and I was like, no, I have to study. And the producers came in, they were like, Lily, you should probably take a nap. I was like, okay. So I went around the house and I stole all of the legal pads, like for taking notes. I took all the pens, pencils, and legal pads, and I put them under the couch cushions in the blue room, and I napped on the couch. So I was like the sleeping dragon on the treasure of legal pads that no one could find.
You're like, yes, I am going to do what I can to stifle everyone else so that I can get rest.
That's about as sneaky as I got on this show, honestly.
Other than your spying trip as you walk in and just look behind and say,
whatever. Like,
I know, that's so really silly
that they put that in there. But like every nerd off, there were people from both teams in each room. So it was totally not weird to have someone from another team come in and look at what you were doing.
And it's not like you came back with any kind of crazy information. Oh, yep, looks like he's studying. This will be tough.
He's doing well.
It's
not like they had to both build machines, and I was like, here's what his machine is doing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not whatever. I think it's super funny though. It's like spying complete. Really great.
I thought that was an entertaining bit of producing there. So yeah, I saw that, was like, that's funny. So thankfully though, when it all came down to the actual challenge in the end there, where but going into essentially Pocket Nerds, that was very neat. One, because like you said, oh look, trademark Stratego. I've played this. This looks great. Exactly. Which immediately I saw your feed where you had a picture with your father saying thank you, and that was very very cool. But as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting, because this is like the most straightforward competition I felt of all of the nerd-offs. Where
Thank you, Wayne. I love hearing that. I've had a bunch of people online being like, oh, well, she just knows this one board game. And it's like, actually, I've been studying strategy my entire life because I love tabletop games.
Well, and that's, well, there were two sides. One, when you guys won and you got the whole pack of tabletop games, I was like, what? Well, that's going to make some fun nights. But two, when I saw that, what I liked about it is because all the other ones were kind of quite question-based, and you weren't really sure, like, what kind of question you were going to get. Because, like, watching Kobe go off when they were going against it and the zombie questions, some of those questions I saw, I was like, well, that's easy. I know that one, Army of Darkness, duh. Stuff like that. But it all depends. That's very random.
It's really subjective.
Yes. Yep. Where there's certain things that I watched that movie 100 times, so of course I know it. Whereas this one was straight up, you're playing a game against each other. It's not who got this random question, oh, you got a softball question, it was fight.
Yep.
And that was epic, and I love how it came down to the wire of both of you guys realizing, all I got to do is get the flag. And let's go. And this race, that added to the whole stress of where it's like, go, 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 go.
My flag was protected, but yes.
Well, I imagine, the smart player, you're going to have the bombs around everything like that. You're going to have something ready to protect. Because I love me some Stratego.
Spheres.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry,
so
not bombs.
I'm going to put this out on here. I've pinned it to the top of my Twitter. It's a link for an online Stratego game, and I posted my username in it. And I was playing with fans last night, and it was super fun. I won.
Nice, very nice. Well, again, this is your jam. This is what you do. But even then, it looked like I wasn't sure, because when you, the mistake made, right? When you revealed that you were using your level 5 in there, I forget the name of it.
The level, it was the Astro Nerd.
Yeah, the Astro Nerd.
It would technically be the Marshal and Stratego.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so when that was revealed, and you're like, no, I took out the wrong, the wrong one. And that was like, oh man.
Did I?
Well, it was a reveal where it just showed the piece early, and then when you did the whole no, that's not who I wanted to attack, and because the hosts were both like, well, why are you unhappy? You won that fight, and then on the other side, Rochelle's like, well, she just showed me where the most powerful character is. Now I know. But at the same time, she goes and makes an equal mistake back, and now the two of you were like head to head, where it's like, and how is it going to work out? So I was really watching that whole one with kind of bated breath, not sure what was going to happen.
I would really love to have the footage of the entire game. That would be really special to me, because that was the most intense game of Stratego I've ever played.
Well, and I wasn't sure how they were going to do it, because having you guys up on the stands where you're just looking down at the board, I mean, because I've seen it done with cosplay chess and stuff like that, but they're usually playing on a miniature chessboard, and so they're actually just playing chess, and it's just being represented by full-size pieces. This one, you were having to look at this massive board and keep track of what was going on. To me, that seemed like it would be a bit daunting.
It was very hard. I wished that I could have been a little bit higher up in order to really have a bird's eye view of my pieces and everything, but it was kind of like you had to remember it based on depth and stuff, which was difficult. But I consider myself, I think that's one of the things I came away from this show with a lot more confidence in myself, and I feel I didn't used to think, I was like, oh yeah, I'm good at board games, but now I'm like, oh wait, no, I'm actually good at board games. I'm actually good at strategy, and there's a reason I would do well with HeroClix, and there's a reason I do well when I play Magic the Gathering. It's not luck. It's not people being easy on me. I'm actually good at games. I have a very strategic mind, and so there, I said it. Look at me being so confident. Check that out.
No, that's awesome. Well,
but
that's something we all do. I think I love hosting board game nights and things like that, and bringing out, Betrayal on House on the Hill, and just, Stratego, and any of these games where it's really competitive, because that's fun to sit down and really look your person that you're playing with in the eye. Thank goodness back to actually being able to play in the same room, and just really enjoying that. So I agree with you, and there's nothing wrong with saying you know what, I'm pretty darn good at board games. I challenge those people. You want to play some Ticket to Ride? Let's go.
Yeah. You want to play me at Stratego? Go to my Twitter. There's the link in my username. Add me, and I will play you.
Oh, I might have to take up that.
You mean I will wreck you?
I would. Okay, that's fine. Even if you do, I'm still gonna feel like I'm good at it.
Oh no, that's Ken saying that you'll probably wreck him.
Yeah.
Oh.
So as going through, and gosh, getting to the. Well, I don't want to get to the last part of this because of how they ended up, but I did have a funny part where, as I was watching, I kind of remember them using clips of you saying a few things in the private interview multiple times, where you had a thing where you more than once they used a clip where you said, "Oh gosh, don't put that in." Is there?
Please don't put that in.
Yes. How many times did you find yourself doing that? Or you were saying something, you just kind of went off and you're.
Yeah, all the time. And the thing where I say the bad word is that's saying, oh, they can't use this footage if I just put my hand over my mouth.
And
obviously.
Then, boom.
And there are a few shots of me talking to the camera like this, because I was like, they can't use this footage, right? Wrong.
They
can't use the footage if I break the fourth wall and say, please don't put that in. Wrong.
Which they absolutely did every time. I thought it was hilarious to see that, where I was just like...
But sometimes I was just trying to make, the interviewer laugh, but I was, please don't put that in.
So that's a good question there, too, because in those interview sessions, what we see is you're talking to the camera. But in that case, there is someone actually kind of asking you questions and talking through what happened, or is it... Okay, good.
And I don't think that's like revealing industry secrets. You can tell that we're being interviewed because some parts in the show, like when Heather says loin product, you hear the interviewer ask her, like, did you just say loin product? So that's for the show. You know that we're being interviewed.
Yeah.
And we have different interviews and we have relationships with our interviewers. Like, there are some we like more and some we like less.
I know that feeling. But yes, no, that was actually, I'm glad you brought that up about the wine product too, because that was hilarious. Yes, I call her baby that. What? That's okay.
Yes.
That's truth. I've heard things like that. I just thought that was genius.
I like how much they let us break the fourth wall this season, like with Rachel's comment about, look at you guys getting your drama. I think it brings a lot more humanity to us as people, because so many times people watch this show and they're like, I know everything about you because I've seen 1% of you on a TV show. And I can judge you based on this assessment. And really, we're full people, get to know us.
No, I love that aspect of it, and it was great because it showed that it's that realization, being self-aware that, yes, we're on a show, yes, this is a competition, yes, these things are happening, and go figure. And so, yeah, when Rochelle said that, it's like, yeah, here's your drama, good job. And it's just, yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's why you get ratings and such. But at the same time, it's neat to know that there's still so much reality behind it that, they script everything together, but you guys were absolutely creating your relationships, having your competitions, and going for the prize. And so all that very, very cool. So as we creep up towards the end of the hour with you, one of the things, so as this last episode ends, and you're safe, outstanding, but then at the very end, they're like, but wait, you're not going far because things are changing again, and you're going to join by everybody who's coming back to perform in this.
Yeah.
And
that was the happiest moment ever.
It was great because you for that moment, it got away from all the drama and fighting that was getting towards the end of this competition, and you got to see there's all the people that I've enjoyed this time with here at Nerdvana, and and everybody had smiles and was rushing out and kind of back in the group together, which is really neat. But at the same time, oh man, again, what a cliffhanger, because they say you will choose who you're going to help win this competition.
Yep.
And that's it. And that's like it. And it's like, wait, no, choose. I want to know.
I want to know. Yeah.
I so want to know who's choosing who, and whether there's any, like, not repercussion per se, but people who are like, well, this person I didn't really like, so I'm actually not going to help them, but I'll say I have no idea. I don't know if there's anything devious or yes. And that's the thing, because Jonathan comes back and was like, haha, the politics, I love that. And it's just like, gosh, this is going to be so crazy. And I know that's all I can say, because I know I can't ask you. Grrr, you got me, TBS.
I encourage those listening, to those people who you want to give your support to, that you should, post pictures of what team you're on, and you could get the caricatures of us and be like, I'm Team Jonathan, or I'm Team Ben, or I'm Team Caitlin, or I'm Team Lily. Whatever you want to do, just post pictures with the caricatures of us, or make T-shirts if you want, whatever.
Anything like that. Put Lily's face out there for everyone else to see. Absolutely.
Paint your garage door with your big.
And by all means, take pictures and tweet them out to Lily so she can show everybody.
Yeah, well, it doesn't just have to be me. It's fine if you don't want to vote for me.
Well, but the whole team. Anything like that. But that way everyone can see. Tweet each of the members, whoever you support.
Yes.
And let them show.
It will make our days.
That would be amazing. So before we end things up, because, I cannot wait for the finale. And it hurts me that it's a finale, because I both want to see who wins, and I'm rooting for you, admittedly, Lily, but hometown advantage, go Denver. On top of that, I can't wait to see how it's all going to turn out. I've actually been really engaged with this season. So that aside, we talked about before how some of the other events and things that you're going to be involved in this year, and one of the big ones is DCC and other things like that. So I would really love for you to tell us what's coming up. Where can we see you? What's going on, Lily?
Yeah, so I just had a great meeting with some awesome gals, and some of the things that we are planning, to the best of my knowledge, and I have been promised many times by each of them, that all 12 members of the Season 3 King of the Nerds cast will be attending Denver Comic-Con.
Oh! That's so exciting,
really
and I'm so jealous because I'm going to be in Canada. But I know, Anime North, first time in Canada, those kind of things, first world problems. But at the same time, oh gosh, I'm so jealous, and don't worry, I will be sending advocates from VTW there, because I have friends who will be there, and I will have someone chase you down, and maybe wearing a shirt or something so you know it's us, to at least like get pictures and talk about what's been going on.
Absolutely. And so I have to email them today to see if there will be like an actual booth where you can talk to us. But I know that there will be a panel of all 12 contestants. We're going to use all of our banners from the Anthem challenge that you saw. We have all those banners, and we're going to hang them up.
Oh, that's awesome.
So important. Yeah. And the other really incredible thing that we are planning is a mini nerd war for teens, because Denver Comic-Con is, about the comic book classroom and literacy and things like that. Oh, yes. So they it's a very kid-friendly convention, and so we are going to have a small competition for teens and preteens, right, who want to participate in this little nerd war. So it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, I'm going to have to tell my buddy Brian, his daughter Presley, who's 9 years old. I don't know if you've ever seen her at the cons. She does amazing cosplay. 9-year-old Presley, she has this YouTube channel, Act Out Games. She's brilliant. She's like homeschooled and amazing. It's like, need to get her on there.
Put her in.
Yes, no, she would be amazing and all that. Oh, and she has way more followers than us because she's super famous and amazing. But anyhow,
that's cool.
Yeah, she is. I was just thinking that'd be perfect because she's like 9 and you would never know. But no, that's awesome. That is so cool that you're going to be able to add to all of that, because that ties into everything else you do. And so being able to bring that up at DCC and really be able to support the people there, I'm so mad I'm not going to be there.
It's going to be fantastic. I also think that Rachel and Amanda and Todd and I, and Thomas, I think as well, maybe Heather too, are going to do a cosplay panel on how cosplay is for everyone. And so we're really hoping to push this through. And all of the final touches are being put on everything this week. So there might be a few other panels with other contestants, but I don't want to put those out there until absolutely. I know them 100%.
Definitely.
But it's going to be great. And also, a few of us may or may not be working on a web series. So, whatever.
Ooh.
Putting that out there, Wayne.
So many teasers. Well, it's funny because you say that. I'm like, what? I need to know more. So curious. But no, that's awesome. If nothing else, the takeaway from that is for anyone who's going to go out to Denver Comic-Con, and we get a lot of attendees. It keeps growing each year. I'm really hoping we hit about 80,000 this year. It's one of those that take the time. You will have such a great opportunity to now come back and interact with all the members of King of the Nerds Season 3, including the lovely Miss Lily, who's joined us today, and really get to see, and ask questions and more involved, because it'll be after the season's over, so that hopefully at that point, no holds barred for what you can kind of ask of what happened, minus any trade secrets. But hopefully we'll be able to get all those, the reactions, we'll know who won, and it'll be all ready just to see the whole group together. Should be amazing. So I'm really, really looking forward to that, and yet I'm not going to be there. Gah. So everyone else, you need to experience it, because that's something that should be amazing. Awesome.
Yeah. And I'm going to plug King of the Nerds, the finale, TBS 9/8 Central. Go watch it. It's going to be fantastic. And you can follow me on Facebook at Lilitron Cos, on Instagram at Lilitron Cosplay, and on Twitter at Lilitron22.
Outstanding. Thank you very much for joining us yet again, Lily. I'm so excited for everything you've been doing. I love following your Twitter feed and kind of keeping up with what's been going on with the action here, and I can't wait to see how it explodes after the finale. Really, it's going to be great. Hopefully I'll be able to run into you at some point at one of the cons here this year. I don't know if you're going to be at Anomaly Con or Starfest or any of those, so hopefully I'll be able to run around and see.
For like the past 10 years, so every year Starfest.
Because that's at least the one con I think I'm actually going to be able to get to local this year, so hopefully I'll see you there, and maybe I'll be Shepherd Book again, we'll see, I don't know. Anyhow, I really, depending on who's listening, I really want to do the bad thing and be Dead Shepherd from the movie, but...
Oh, that would be funny. No, do it.
I think it would. And people,
I've seen someone do Dead Wash. Yeah,
exactly. Right. The whole harpoon through the chest.
It'll be so sad.
Well, ever since I saw the one at Wasabi do the Katniss and I forget the gal's name from the first one, the little gal with the flowers.
They did Dead Rue?
Yes, they did Dead Rue. And I was just, and you saw, because everyone was like, oh, Katniss and Rue. And then she turned around and you see that she was like wounded and stuff. You're like, oh, that ain't right. That is so wrong. You should not do that. because it got all the feels from everybody. Exactly, that exact reaction where everyone's like, oh. So anyhow, we'll see what I do. But yeah, I do look forward. I really hope I get the opportunity to hang out with you in person, Lily. It's always great having you on. So excited for the end of the season here for the finale. And just everybody out there, go check it out and check out everything Lily does. Follow all her feeds. Very much appreciate it yet again for you joining us today. All right, with that, I think we're going to end it out. Ken, thank you for joining me. Lily, thank you very much for joining us today. It was great fun.
Thank you guys always.
All right, so with that, everyone, thank you very much for listening, and check out all the shows on vtwproductions.com. We will catch you again next week. Thank you very much. See you all later. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. See you next zombie.